Save. And then when you're done saving, save some more.
And when you think you just saved enough,
save some more. Yes. And just because you save does not mean you can spend. Like, save some more. I think you can never start too early. And I promise you, the small amount that you do put away today can accumulate.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of videos that are packed with financial advice. There's a lot here, and a lot of it is hard truth, so let's take a deep dive and see what financial literacy lessons we can learn.
When you start making more money, please don't rush to upgrade your lifestyle. Instead, use that money to 1, increase your savings, 2, pay down or pay off any debt, 3, invest that money into some things that's gonna make you more money that don't require all your time, your physical presence, or your energy. And I say that because a lot of times when we get to making more money, we get to immediately spending more money. We go upgrade our car, get a newer car with a higher car note, upgrade our house or apartment, pay more in rent, more in mortgage. So that's why you get a lot of people that say that I'm making the most money I've ever made, but as they were making more money, they start spending more money, so it still feel like you're in the same place. And I'm not saying don't upgrade at all. I'm not saying don't go do things that you weren't able to do because you didn't have the finances to do them, and now that you do, don't. I'm just saying don't be so in a hurry and keep yourself essentially in the same exact place even though you're making way more money. Because the goal is to be free, and if you can do those first 3 things I mentioned first and take care of that, everything else will be a piece of cake. I'm telling you, everything that you think you want right away, it can wait. It's gonna be there. It's not going nowhere. Listen, I done been there and done that, and so I'm telling you now, if you can avoid that and, like I said, prioritize those first 3 things that I mentioned, bro, you will thank yourself for years to come. I wish I would have increased my savings. I wish I would have paid off all my debt, and I wish I would have invested more into assets and had that passive income come in and use that to really upgrade my lifestyle or pay for the things that I thought I wanted.
I heard nothing wrong. He said nothing but facts. Dropped bars, mic drop. So this is a #1 trap that people fall into, which is lifestyle creep, which is, oh, I got a pay bump at work and now I can afford the things that I couldn't afford before. And so I'm just going to go and spend all that money, extra money. Wrong. That extra money should be going towards your savings, your 401k, your Roth IRA, traditional, whatever floats your boat, whatever invests in your future. And the thing about lifestyle creep is that as the paycheck gets bigger, so do the bills. And that's how you end up making 6 figures, but still feeling broke. You want a shiny new toy, a new car, a new iPhone, a bigger house, a boat. But the thing is, as your paycheck gets bigger, so do your bills. And that's how you find yourself back at square one, which is struggling to pay the bills because you have no money. What I like about his video is that he highlighted 3 main goals, which is to pay off debt, save, and invest. So if you hit those goals first, and upgrading your lifestyle is just icing on the cake. And honestly, I wish I had learned this sooner in life because my early 20s were ghetto. I was spending money like I was lighting my money on fire, essentially. I can't even tell you what I spent my money on. And that's embarrassing, but now I know better.
Math this, girl math that. You guys, it's 2025, and in this economy, I'm gonna be so real. Millionaires are made in recessions, and the broke are often left more broke. If you want to get ahead of the curve, this is the time to be more financially responsible. Basic financial tips that you should know. Rent is like $3,000 a month. You should at minimum be making really like 2.5 times that. You should be budgeting at least 20% for savings, investments, and debt. If you continue to spend more money as you make more money, you're never actually really making more money. Trying to look like you have more money than you actually have and what you actually can afford will be your downfall. It will catch up to you. If you can't manage 50K, you will never be able to manage 500K. If you cannot buy it twice, at minimum, really 3 times, you cannot actually afford it. Maybe it's because I'm a Gen Z, but I feel like you should have at least minimum 3 streams of income per month. Your credit score does matter.
Oh, she's a smart Gen Zer. So she mentioned being able to buy something twice. And that's how you know you can afford it. That is so true. It's solid advice. It stings a little to know that, but if you can't buy it twice, then it also means that if you buy it once, then you're right back at 0. It's a good pulse check. It's a good gut check to stop emotionally spending your money. But as a gentleman from the previous video mentioned, what you want is still going to be there 2, 3, 4 months down a year from now when you're able to actually afford that item that you want. And sometimes having that buffer and that time in between lets you see if you actually really want the thing. My rule is that I leave it in the cart, Amazon cart, whatever, Best Buy cart, for 30 days. And if I come back in 30 days and I still really want it, then I'll actually work for it. But then after 30 days and I realize, oh, why did I even put this in my cart? Then that's like a good pulse check for me to realize that I actually didn't need it or want it to begin with.
And things I wouldn't do now that I've been a financial advisor for over 20 years. Number one, I would not use my debit card for online purchases. Yes, you have fraud protection, but the money does physically leave your account. You have to work with your bank to get it credited back. Worse, it may happen when you're not currently looking at your account, causing other bills or checks to bounce. Credit cards only when you're buying online. Number two, I would do everything I can to...
Well, that's kind of dangerous because sometimes if you don't physically see the money coming out of your account, then you think it's coming out of the cloud and you just keep on spending more and more and more on your credit card. I fell into that trap. I've known people who fell into that trap. I have family members who fell into that trap. Well, just put it on the credit card. So I would say that if you're wise and you know what you're doing and you pay off your credit card every month, then use a credit card. Use it responsibly.
Avoid being a car buyer right now, new or used. Dealerships have to make up for reduced inventories by jacking up prices and adding garbage fees on the back end. This is only going to add more trouble down the road when you want to sell or trade in. You're going to be so far upside down, you're either going to have to drive that car into the ground or roll that negative equity into your next purchase, which isn't a guarantee.
So story time, I actually did that because I was in my 20s and I was being ghetto with my money. So I really wanted this particular car. It was my dream car. I had already bought a new car 2-3 years prior, brand new. I traded in that car with still 11K on the loan. I went into the dealership, put that loan on top of my other loan, and I walked out with about 43K in debt. It's paid off. I learned my lesson. I had to refinance one time, and I don't recommend it. I don't. It was taking up about 25% of my paycheck every month. Now I'm older, I'm wiser, and I definitely wouldn't do it again. I'm still driving that car. It's kind of a beater now, but I learned my lesson.
My advice, make your current car last another 6 to 12 months. Inventory levels should balance out and prices come back to normal. Number 3, I never pay credit card interest. At least I haven't in years. I don't use credit cards for anything more than a convenience as a replacement for cash. Do not let credit cards let you live beyond your means. If I can't pay for it in full when the first bill comes, I don't charge it and I don't compromise. That's how I stay out of debt. Number 4, don't miss out on your employer's 401k match. There's chatter on social media about, hey, 401ks are not that good. You should be buying real estate or whole life insurance. That's fine. They can say what they want. But 401k match is free money. Your employer's trying to help you save for retirement.
If it's vested. If it's not vested, then that means you have to work, I think, about 12 months or whenever they release the money, and then that money is yours. But if it's vested 100% at the time that it's put into your account, then it's yours.
Take the free money. Don't pass it up. If I had a magic bank where you could make a $100 deposit and I gave your receipt back for $200, you'd run home and find every $100 bill you could. That's what's happening when your employer matches your contributions. Don't pass up the free money. Number 5, I don't borrow money for things unless they go up in value, namely real estate. I buy my cars, my toys, my vacations, my electronics. I pay cash for them. Don't pay interest on depreciating assets.
He gave off very fatherly energy, and I am here for it.
Let's talk fast finance. 1, assign your money a job before you spend it. Every dollar needs a purpose. Wandering money just disappears. 2, have a money day every week or every other week. I know life is busy, but if you do not schedule your finances, it will not get handled. 3, separate your soft life fund from your emergency fund. One protects your peace, the other protects your lifestyle. 4, know your top 3 money metrics: net worth, monthly burn, your savings rate. You don't need a fancy degree to do this. 5, build a bare minimum budget. If everything were to fall apart, how much will it cost you to cover the basics? This number matters. 6, stop using your checking account as a scoreboard. A high balance doesn't always necessarily mean financial freedom. You want to elevate, get crafty, and strategic about your money, aka investments. Now 7, learn to say no even when you can afford it, okay?
That's the ultimate power, the ability to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. No is it's gold. It's when you've reached that level of self-control, I feel like you've hit the lottery.
Discipline is not a form of punishment, it's protection. 8, track your emotional spending triggers. Are you spending because you're sad, bored, trying to prove something?
Hungry?
Know your patterns. 9, buy luxury out of overflow, not from obligation. We don't perform success, we embody it. And 10, treat your finances like a business. Income, expenses, strategy, goals. You are the CEO of your life, so act like it. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Smart girls have systems, so make sure you build yours.
It's not just girl math, it's smart girl math. This is such a real perspective. The more you make, the more life gets complicated. But what hit me the most was the part about financial education. So a lot of us aren't really taught this. We turn 18 and they throw us out into the deep end. We go to college, we take out $200K worth of student loan debt, and here we are with our $40K jobs afterwards. Nothing can be more stressful than that. So imagine if high school sort of taught you these things, or there was an actual class on these things. I'm sure there maybe are, but in my high school, there definitely wasn't. I wish they taught us about credit score, taxes, how to file your taxes. Oh my gosh, if they taught us how to file our taxes, that would be gold. I YouTube everything every April. I wish they taught us about investing, paying your bills, budgeting, but unfortunately they didn't. Instead, they taught us the pariah. I can't even say it. Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem. See, it's not useful. It's not useful in real life.
I think that the most frustrating thing about becoming financially literate is learning about all of the things that you're already too late for. And you can do them at any time, and that's fine, but how much you would have benefited from simply knowing about it sooner. And not things that you didn't have access to because you didn't have money, things that you didn't have access to because you just didn't know that you could do them, that you thought were only for rich people. Sure, you may not have had a ton of money in savings, but you could have had a high yield savings account. Sure, you might not have had a lot of money to invest, but you could have been investing, or you had money in your 401k because that's all you know is you started a job and they had a 401k for you, but it wasn't actually invested, so it was just sitting there doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing. You didn't know that using a credit card instead of a debit card was actually so beneficial. As somebody who grew up poor, I always thought that the best thing that you could do was not have debt and not put anything on credit cards, or that paying somewhere with a credit card was to some extent shameful because it felt like you didn't have the money. And obviously that's not the case. Obviously now you can find out what all of the rich people are doing and learn that it's not actually about having more money to do it with, it's about entirely financial education. And I know that it's intentional, but if we were even to try and upkeep the guise of wanting a better society, wanting the betterment of quality of life for people, why wouldn't we tell kids about this? Why wouldn't we tell teenagers about this? Why do we send them out into the world with this information? Why did I get sent out into the world without this information? That's so frustrating.
If you know about the Matrix, then let me stop talking. But yeah, this goes back to the previous video about financial education. I wish that it was taught sooner. As early as the 8th grade would have done a lot. As kids, in high school, they get jobs early on. But no, they just want us to learn about the Pythagorean theorem.
I just wanted to share some of the things that I learned through mentors, through financial literacy courses that I took, and different programs that I've been a part of, and how you should set yourself up financially now that you are a college student so that you can literally chill.
Pause. Her skin is flawless. I love it. I want to know what her routine is. Her skin is really flawless.
Once you're graduating, and I'm a senior this year, so
she's glowing. Look at her.
I've been thinking about this a lot, especially applying to full-time jobs, but I'm gonna share everything that I know. These are basically all the accounts that you need to have open in order to like be at a good level to start then going into other parts of financial literacy. First things first is a debit card, and all this is going to do is serve as a pass along stationary little area for you. So money comes in, it goes into your debit card, goes right out to your savings, your investing, your to pay off your credit card, stuff like that. You do not want to go to a store, a restaurant, anywhere, and you do not want to hand over your debit card. You don't gain anything from spending on your debit card. You don't get any points. You're not building credit. You're not getting any cash back, none of that. So it's literally useless to spend money on your debit card. You do.
Fun fact, if you really want to laugh, go to your bank statement and see how much interest rate you get from having money sitting in your checking account. I believe mine is something like 0.01. So for every $1,000, I'm butchering the math, but for every $1,000 sitting in my bank account, my checking account, I get a penny every month. So $2,000 would be 2 cents. I'm sure I butchered that math. If you have the right math, drop it down in the comments below. Yeah, let's get back to it.
Do not want to use your debit card for spending. Its only purpose is to serve as a place where all your money is dumped and then it's getting taken the hell out. And for me, I like keep my monthly expenses on there too, because then I can just pay it off with my credit card as well. And so that's number one. Obviously, you're going to have a debit card. The next thing is a credit card. So now that you have a debit card that you're not spending with, what are you going to spend with? A credit card. The first credit card that I ever had was a credit union credit card, which helped me a lot because I was able to really learn. I had the place right across the street if I ever had any questions, if I needed any type of assistance, and this was like a really good time for me to just like learn about credit before I started, you know, really investing in a credit card. And then the next one I had was the Capital One Saver One card, which was perfect because for study abroad, I didn't have any transaction fees or anything like that. And I mean, y'all saw me on the Capital One page or whatever. I did a little collab with them because I was just like, no way. Like, they reached out to me and I was already using them. Amazing. So, always really good starter points. Right now, I have the American Express Gold card, and I actually just invested in that this year, and that has helped not only my credit score, but it just helped me learn so freaking much about credit card benefits. You have no idea. I can like freaking dissect that in a whole other video. But you need a credit card, and really you need to just make sure that one, you're not spending too much. I think it's about 30% of whatever your budget or your limit is what you want to spend. Give or take, honestly, some months is up, sometimes it's down, but what I really focus on is being able to pay it on time, always. I paid about a week ahead of time, and that always works out for me. 800 credit score, baby.
Wow, that's really 800 is pretty good. I believe it's something like only 20% of the adult population with credit scores have something over 750, 800. Correct me in the comments. Anyways, yes, everything that she's saying is valid. It's true, but only if you have discipline.
Yeah. And 21, yeah. So that's what helps me personally, is just being able to pay it on time and not spending money that I do not freaking have. Like, I just think that's embarrassing. Even I'm like, why? Who do you think you are going out to lunch and you don't have the capabilities for that, big man? Put it down, cook. So I just never ever spend money I don't have. I never do. I think it's just like not even okay. And you might be like, okay, girl, like some people are in situations where they need to spend money they don't have. But then you want to know what you can do? Have an emergency fund. So what I do is I built an emergency fund, and I literally put like thousands of dollars in there, and I just, every time there's an emergency, and only an emergency, where I truly, and I have nothing to do, like, I never ask people for money, but like, I literally have nowhere in my financial corner to turn. That's the only time I'm ever touching that emergency. And obviously this is not just any regular savings account. This is a high yield savings account where I'm earning interest on every type of money that I make. So at this point, I make over like $100 a month just for having money in my savings account.
This goes back to what I was saying earlier, where your checkings account will have something stupid like 0.01% interest rate that you accumulate every month, whereas a high yield savings account right now They're around 3%, 3.5%. Lucky ones get the 4s.
And it just adds up, and that's it. And that in itself is like building itself. So that is really great. I personally donate any interest that I get though, but it's up to you and like your beliefs on interest, obviously. But it's a really great way to build your money and to have a savings account where your money earns itself. So now you know about a debit card, you know about credit cards and how to utilize them, and now you know about an emergency savings account, but also the type of savings account that you need to have is a high yield savings account. The next thing that we want to get into considering is investing, and you can do that through a Roth, you can do that through a brokerage account. And obviously if you are a full-time employee, you have a 401k where your company matches you. And this is a huge thing to be considering if you are a senior in college and are trying to work full-time. And so one of the big things that I'm looking into when it comes to companies is, are you gonna match? Are you gonna match? What's your 401k?
Why should you need to do all that? But I mean, she's not wrong. Sometimes companies will put in their benefits guide when they're hiring you how much they'll match and how much they'll add in, like 3-4%, and then they'll company match the rest. But yeah, solid advice. Always look into that. Even if it's your dream job, still have something about that job work for you.
Okay, plan, like what's up? So that's a huge thing, but I would say start off small, and that is kind of the next big thing. Obviously, this is for college students, so you guys are all still in university, but if you are a senior, that's something that you can look into, and I could talk about all the things that I'm looking into when it comes to full-time jobs and like what companies are providing. You want to be as informed as possible when it comes to finances in general, but especially if you're graduating this year. But yeah, that's kind of my little journey with finances, and I'm at a really good place with that right now, which all praisings to God himself, because Amen. That was all him. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
And there you have it. This video covered almost all the lessons people need to hear. Some of it was hard. Some of it was, well, what's the next step? How do I get to that point where I'm saving and investing? It's from not falling into lifestyle creep to building safety nets, paying off all of your debt, and using your money wisely. Have your money work for you. And we also touched based using my work lingo. We also touched on teaching the youth early on, financial literacy, financial independency, teaching them how to use money wisely. Money isn't about how much you make, but how wise you are with it. The systems you build, the discipline you have, the practice that you put into place, and the education surrounding financial literacy, it will either keep you free or keep you stuck or keep you in the loop. And for me personally, I can't leave this conversation without bringing it back to what Scripture says. God calls us to be good stewards of what he's entrusted us with, not to waste it and not to be foolish with it, not to idolize it, but to manage it for his glory. Proverbs 21:20 says, "There is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it." So in other words, it's wise to plan, it's wise to save, and it's wise to make responsible decisions. While the foolish, they spend their money without any thought. So if you want to get ahead in your financial life, then start with the basics. Save, invest, plan ahead, and don't get into bad debt. Make better, responsible decisions, and be a good steward of what God has given you. And if you steward what you have well, just watch and see how God multiplies it in time. So what's one financial habit you wish you had when you were younger? What's one financial habit you wish you had now, but you feel like you're stuck in this loop? Drop it in the comments so we can learn from each other. And if you found value in this video, then please hit that like and subscribe button down below. Until next time.